So it's come out in the past 15 minutes or so that the Tennessee Titans have the framework of a deal in place with the Atlanta Falcons for a trade for Julio Jones. Now, they're at least getting a second round pick in return. Some of the other compensation is a little bit fuzzy, which is why the deal is not official yet. But reports from guys like Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter are saying that within the next 24 to 48 hours, they expect this deal will come together and become official. So it sounds like Julio Jones is departing Atlanta after his long stay there, and he became the franchise leader in receptions and receiving yards. Certainly has his place probably among the Mount Rushmore of Atlanta Falcons players. Unfortunately, never won a Super Bowl with the team. But let's examine this deal. Let's start first with the financials, because this is a very interesting trade. I don't know how financially it will work out for the Tennessee Titans, because they rank among the bottom 10 teams in cap space right now. So do the Atlanta Falcons, by the way. The Falcons have had so little cap space, they did not have enough room to sign all of their rookies. They couldn't sign the rookies to contracts. So this was a necessary move for Atlanta because they needed that cap space. So while it's always controversial to move on from a local legend like Julio, who has been playing there for so long and really built up this rapport with the community and with the other players on the team, a guy who's going to be a future Hall of Famer, they had to make this move to be able to bring in the next crop of guys for when they're retooling or rebuilding to move forward. So this was a necessary trade for Atlanta. And they're getting some decent compensation back. I never thought they would get a first-round pick in return for Julio just because he is 32. He's coming off an injury-shortened season. It's his worst year in terms of total production since 2013, even though he still averaged almost 86 yards per game last year. So it's not like he was completely worthless when he was out there. He was still fantastic. He was still Julio Jones. So now let's look at this trade from Tennessee's perspective. Well, you're trading away draft picks, and yes, to be honest, you haven't drafted very well recently anyway. So what's the harm in trading away a second round pick for Julio Jones, who could get and maybe get some prime years, maybe get 2, maybe even 3 years of prime production? Now Julio Jones still probably more like 2, but you pair him with AJ Brown. Now this is going to be a very similar situation for Julio Jones because he's working with Calvin Ridley recently. Calvin Ridley, a guy who's developing into a arguably top 10 wide receiver in the NFL, especially after last year. AJ Brown, he's one of those guys as well. He's up there. I mean, PFF, I'm pretty sure, is higher on him than anyone else. I don't think I'm that high on AJ Brown compared to them, but I still view him as a guy who belongs to that top 10 discussion. And he's fairly young. You put him next to Julio Jones. These are both tough guys. Brown idolizes Julio Jones and what he's done so far in the NFL. So now you're putting together one of the best offenses in the NFL from a skill position perspective, because you have AJ Brown, you got Julio Jones, obviously Derrick Henry, rushing king, over 2,000 yards this past season. As long as he stays healthy, because running backs sometimes after they have those 2,000-yard seasons or after they have multiple years with over 300-plus touches, you get that Christian McCaffrey outcome like we had this past year where you miss most of the season or you just aren't the same guy. But assuming that Derrick Henry, who just is realistically built different, I mean, that's not even an exaggeration. Just look at the guy. If he's that different, then he should be able to survive through this, and he should be able to play multiple more fantastic seasons for Tennessee. So you're going to have Derrick Henry, you're going to have Julio Jones, you're going to have A.J. Brown. You did lose Corey Davis, obviously, along with Jonnu Smith, but you still have Josh Reynolds, who's coming in from Los Angeles. He'll be a decent player to be your third receiver. You drafted Dez Fitzpatrick. And let's be honest, I mean, tight end Anthony Firkser was not that bad last year, and you still have Jeff Swain as well. So it's not like you have nothing at tight end. You still have pieces there who are going to be able to help you out here and going to be able to help you win games. And Ryan Tannehill has been like a top 10 quarterback since joining Tennessee. So you got a top 10 quarterback, 2 top 10 wide receivers, and a top 3, probably top 2 running back. I mean, what else could you want here offensively for the Titans? Maybe right tackle, you got Dylan Radins, you just drafted. You got to feel pretty good about that. Left tackle, Taylor Lewan's coming back after missing most last season. His health is always a bit of a concern. But if he's back to normal, and you still have a really good left tackle, probably still a top half of the league left tackle. Roger Saffold was much better this past year. You got Ben Jones, you got Nate Davis, who's improving. So you have to feel really, really good about this total package offensively for the Tennessee Titans. Now, how will this work financially? I don't know. Because Julio Jones does have a significant contract, and as I've discussed already, the Titans and Falcons don't have a lot of cap room. I would assume that the Falcons will take on some of the contract, not all of it, but some of it, and try to split it up. That way they can both afford it. And Ian Rappaport has just tweeted out the deal is now done. So he hasn't given any compensation numbers so far, so we don't know exactly how this is working out, but he has tweeted out the deal is done. So it sounds like Julio Jones is going to Tennessee, and that's going to be your outfit today as opposed to in the next 24 to 48 hours. But yeah, I mean, it's a great addition for the Tennessee Titans. Again, like I said, I want to see the financials. I want to see how it works out, see how much of the contract Atlanta's playing, how much is Atlanta's paying, how much of it Tennessee is paying, and whether the Titans have to cut somebody in order to fit underneath the salary cap, because that might happen based on how little cap space they have currently. But yeah, I mean, the offense for Tennessee has really come together here, and Mike Vrabel has to be happy now looking at what he's got on that side of the ball. The big question now, of course, is defensively, what are you going to do? You got Caleb Farley, whose health might be a bit of a question, even though he was the best cornerback, in my opinion, in this past year's draft, just based purely on his physical skill set and all he's done in college so far. Janoris Jenkins, Elisha Molden, Christian Fulton. So you got some young guys up there, plus the veteran in Jenkins, and Amari Hooker and Kevin Byard as your protected safeties. So you're going to have some issues on that side of the ball potentially, especially maybe at the linebacking level. Defense line, it's all looking up, but did not perform at the level you expected last year. And we now have, I thought we saw a tweet come in. It didn't just pop up for me, but I thought I saw a tweet come in saying we had the official compensation. So give me a second. All right, it doesn't want to pop up. I'm seeing it pop up on my phone, but it's not popping up on my computer here, and I can't switch off my phone. There it is. Okay. So the full terms, the Falcons get a 2022 second-round pick, and Atlanta gets the Titans 4 in 2023, and I give back their 6 in 2023. So Tennessee is getting Atlanta's 6th-round pick in 2023 plus Julio Jones for a 2nd-round pick in 2022 and a 4th-round pick in 2023. It's a great deal for Tennessee. I mean, that's basically a steal, especially if Julio Jones is still an elite receiver. And for the Tennessee Titans, I just said Tennessee Titans. For Atlanta, it's still a decent deal because you have to trade Julio Jones because you need that cap space desperately. You just need to get rid of a big contract. This is the only way to do it. And Julio Jones is getting up there in age. So it's unfortunate. You wish you could get more for a guy who's still arguably a top 5 receiver when healthy. But all things considered, a 2nd-round pick, a 4th-round pick, it's fairly good. I mean, you were never going to get a 1st-rounder. So taking a 2nd-rounder, this is probably the best you could do. You just have to live with it and now move forward and hope that your rookie class can come in and contribute and make the most of moving on from Julio Jones.